All right. I'm Aaron Zamora here from M.U.S E covering the Los Angeles Film Festival here at LA Live. I am with the director and the star of Inner Demons, Seth Grossman and Lara Vosburgh. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you. Hi.
So, Seth, my first question for you. I know that this is very much in the genre of possession films as well as found footage. What inspiration did you take while making your film, as well as what did you want to bring specifically to your story, the story that we have of this young girl who is possessed as well as addicted to heroin?
Well, I like the found footage genre because it allows you to play with the way that people tell stories. Found footage is stories about storytelling, about how things are transmitted. So I felt like that was a unique way to tell this story. I was a director on the TV show Intervention for A&E for about a year. I did 8 different episodes about different kinds of addicts and alcoholics. So I felt like I could bring my experience on that show to this movie and just explore the texture and the family dynamics of people who are dealing with the disease of addiction. And especially there's something about co-occurring disorders when there's addiction and mental illness that's so difficult to treat. So to be able to explore that within the genre of a horror movie was particularly exciting.
Okay. And for you, Laura, what drew you to this project, it being a horror film and obviously such a very unique perspective on the genre, as well as such a very complex character?
So, absolutely. First of all, it was a well-written female character, first of all. Secondly, it was a great story. It doesn't matter if it's horror or comedy or drama. It was a fantastic love story, a fantastic family story, a fantastic community story of dealing with when you have problems. How does everybody react to that?
And obviously playing a character who is battling addiction, who they suspect, she has mental illness, and then on top of that, she is in fact possessed. How do you approach a character so complex and just with so many of these, types of afflictions that she has to deal with? How does one do that?
Basically, as an actor and performer, first of all, you have to have a director that creates a very safe environment for you to explore tough experiences, and Seth did that. So I took experiences that I had in my life and created a hyper reality for those experiences to feel what it was like when it was a really bad situation, or think how it would be and be overwhelmed by it. And it's, as a sane, healthy human being, you try to avoid that, and here I had to create a hyper situation and go at it full force.
Now, Seth, of course, you have experience, with being a part of Intervention, and obviously that runs very much in the film, driving the plot. How about, some of the tension that was built when you have, the producers, doubting that, she is in fact possessed, and, a lot of the complications with the family members. What inspired you to bring some of that out in the story?
Well, I think that from the point of view of this reality crew, possession is good TV. If this girl really thinks that she's possessed by a demon, that's going to draw an audience. That's going to drive revenue for the network. That's good. They want to exploit that. They want to encourage it. They want her to talk about it. But they don't really believe it's true. They just think this is how her mental illness manifests in this story about, I have a demon inside of me.
Right.
So there's that aspect of it, which is interesting, I think. Jason, the PA on the crew, who's not yet been fully indoctrinated into the culture of reality TV, which is a very rough culture. I mean, when you've been working on Intervention or a show like that with addicts for a year or years, you get a little bit immune to the stories of hardship and disease and death and abuse, because you have to build up that sort of shell so that it doesn't destroy you. I mean, I have to say, when I was working on the show Intervention, which actually was a program with a ton of integrity, a lot more integrity than the characters in this movie have, they offered all of us field producers free therapy twice a month because of what we were going through shooting that show. So I think that I may have lost the original question here, but I just think that it's an incredible opportunity to explore the dynamics of observation and the moment when Jason the PA decides to stop hiding behind the camera and engage with another human being is the climax of the film. And that's one of the tough things about being a documentarian or a reality TV filmmaker. When you're documenting somebody's suffering, when do you say, okay, enough of the documentation, let me actually get engaged? Because on the one hand, you want to help a person who's in front of the camera. On the other hand, you have a larger responsibility to serve an audience. You can help one person, or you can tell a story that helps a million people. So I felt like it was really fun to explore that dynamic in the film.
And just out of curiosity, I noticed throughout the film, I was actually kind of surprised, and it was very refreshing. There were these moments within the film that are clearly strategic where you could hear the audience sort of like laughing or chuckling. Was that originally in the script? Did you want to bring that out? Like, how did that happen? Because that's not very common in, many horror films or anything like that.
Excuse me. You could hear, so the moments of levity, the fun moments. Well, I just think that life is funny. These characters are funny people. Production crews tend to joke around a lot. And reality TV is very easy to satirize. So I think that came out. I think if you try to create a movie with one tone of, very serious tension throughout, I think that it becomes less human. So I think the moments of levity really humanize the characters. And especially the one, Brian Flaherty, who plays Tim in the movie. I think he's just a jokester. He's a
jokester too, and that's important because yes, we were dealing with very intense emotions and very intense subject matters, and Seth took the whole process very seriously, but he made sure that we had fun as well, because if you don't have that, you're not going to have a good creation, because human beings are the full spectrum. And also this story is amazing because that moment when Jason puts down the camera, it's not only when you're the person who's depicting things suddenly loses that. It's also us as human beings. When are we distancing ourselves from people, and when are we giving help? Because we all have those moments when we need the help.
And I'm just curious, for you, Laura, tackling this character, what was the most difficult thing about trying to bring her to life? Really getting across, the fact that she is struggling, not just with addiction, but the fact that it's a release for something else, it's something deeper. What was the hardest aspect of really bringing that out? Because it came out very well in the film.
Giving up the need to be strong. Because in life, I try to be a very strong person. And to portray this role, and in order to get help, to at some point, my character asks for help. For a while, she herself was trying to be strong, and she had to give that up, because if you want to get help, you have to show the world your vulnerabilities and that it's okay. You have to choose those people wisely, but that's the love story. When you find love, you can be vulnerable, and that's beautiful.
Was there anything in specific about her character that you personally connected with after, all of the filmmaking, seeing the film for yourself?
You have a demon inside you.
Definitely. First of all, yesterday was the first time my family saw it. And I am an actress in Israel. And this is the first time I've acted in English. So they're understanding that I'm an actress, this is what I'm going to be doing. And it's like Carson is insane. Sorry, she's not insane. Everybody thinks she's insane. I'm getting confused. And she's trying to convince everybody that she's dealing with a certain thing. And I'm trying to convince people, hey, I don't need to convince. This is what I am. Believe me. If you want to believe me, great. If not, you need to go see a therapist. I guess.
I think what it certainly does is it shows perhaps, maybe the psychology, the motivations why some people decide to engage in that behavior, but still reflecting the destructiveness of it, certainly.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it.
That's definitely a good way to put in it. And what I'm hoping, and we're hoping that will happen, is that through arts, for me as an artist, when I can take out my personal issues and deal with it. Of course, create art, which I love, but also on the way, deal with things that's great. And maybe the viewers who are watching it will see that you can reach out for help and ask for help from people instead of finding substances or addictions, and watch movies and do art. Kids and art, that's what you need to be doing.
Yeah, I feel like the possession is a very clear metaphor for the trauma and the mental illness that causes or leads to addiction in so many people. There's so many people with undiagnosed mental illness who self-medicate in order to control emotional pain. And for this particular story, that happens to be demonic possession. But this isn't like an awareness-raising movie, but at the same time, it does deal with issues that are very real. And if society can talk about them more openly, then I think that only helps people who are struggling with them.
So when can we hope to possibly see the movie in movie theaters, or is it also traveling to other film festivals as well, so audiences can discover something that's very unique and different compared to anything else that's out there right now?
I mean, we're in the process of getting distribution now, so all of our fingers are crossed, and we're hoping that we can bring this movie to audiences. We're so proud of it, and we love it so much, and we want other people to be able to experience it because we think it's a really fun ride.
The Demon has not decided yet in which route it would like to share this film. We'll have to channel it, and then we'll get back to you.
Yeah. Perhaps we can borrow that book of spells and maybe make some magic work.
Yeah.
All right.
Codex Demonic.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. You can check out Inner Demons here at the LA Film Festival. Please keep a lookout for it in movie theaters, hopefully very soon. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you, Aaron. This has been a nice